And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. When you think of the word doula, a guy probably doesn't come to mind, right? Believe it or not, there is a growing number of male doulas in the profession, and they're happy to help women in their birth journey. So take a listen. And joining us on The Factor Uncensored tonight, we have with us Jessie Ray Spivey, who is a doula. So Jessie, for those who are wondering exactly what does that mean, explain it to us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for having me, Isaiah. I'm really happy to be here. A doula, for those who don't know, is pretty much a birth companion, birth support companion. We support birthing people from antepartum to postpartum, so before the birth, during the birth, and after the birth.
And for those who are seeking one, how do you get a doula in your life? Now, we're seeing a trend where dads are becoming doulas and playing a more integral role in the birth of their child. So for those who may not have that other significant other living with them, where would one find a doula?
You know, I think the first step is even acknowledging or understanding that you want that support or you need that support. And there's many resources that you can find: the National Black Doulas Association, the Black Birth Workers Rock Directory. There's many different forums to connect and find birth workers. We're out there, we're all over, and we're accessible, which is the most important part.
And it sounds like a very intimate but non-sexual job that you have on your hands. Tell us a little bit about it, explain it.
Absolutely. I mean, when you're supporting someone who is in the process of labor and giving birth, there is a kind of a wall of intimacy that just goes, it goes away. You're very close physically to the person. You are supporting them in probably ways that might make an average person feel uncomfortable. And even
some dads.
even some dads and fathers as well. But that's why it's important for me to be visible so that people can see me and know that you can look like me and do this too.
And when you're at that bedside with that mother giving birth, what are you saying? Give us an example of what you would say to a person.
One of my favorite things to do when I'm in the midst of labor is humming and singing and rocking and moving. Those kind of things really help comfort during labor. So for me, I really love a really strong embrace. I love to rock and hum and sing and really dive into that power.
And this is not your first rodeo. You've done it several times before. Tell us a little bit about your client list, not specific names, but,
I've been very blessed to work with many different people in my life and my time as a doula. My mother actually is a birth worker as well, and she's the one that inspired me. So I started this whole thing just tagging alongside her after school sometimes, kind of just seeing what she was doing. And I really I've always been drawn to birth, but I think that really started pulling me in to what I was doing.
And for a father who wants to take on that role with his wife, how do you prepare them? How do they get themselves there for those who are looking for advice and want to take on that role?
I spend a lot of time with my clients before the birth. So particularly with couples, because I do work with a lot of, various clients, single birthers, queer couples, all of that. So when I'm working specifically when there's a partner involved, I really try to have that partner involved from the beginning. So when we're doing those childbirth education, when we're going over all of the things that we need to talk about weeks and months before the actual birth itself, making sure that it's an engaged process with both partners. It's not just a one-sided thing, and I don't want to do it if just one partner is going to be involved. It's a group effort, because I may need to tap out during birth and lean on the partner for support myself. So I definitely think it's really important. And another reason why I do what I do, to make sure that the partner is involved as well.
Do you ever, or have you ever run across a partner who just didn't have the emotional capacity to do it and to be there, and you say, take your ass to the waiting room, we'll see you when the baby's here?
Most definitely. And there have been couples that I said, this isn't going to work for me. If that's people,
it's me, not you.
Absolutely, not every client that comes to me is for me, and I'm not for every client. So that's something you have to understand as a doula too, And so I've definitely had that experience where I've had to step in and say, you know what, maybe it's best for you to step out, or early on say this partnership isn't for me.
Mm-hmm. And for those, once again, who would like to begin the process to become a doula, or at least to help out during the process, where could they go? What are some of the resources, or where can they find you? And then you can direct them through your social media. How about that?
I was going to say you can start with me by following me on Instagram at the Doodad, TheDoudad. My website is also thedoodad.com. You can find me on any of those platforms as well. Facebook, Instagram, I'm always on there. And there's a lot of other birth workers you can connect with as well through me or through, the networks that are presented there. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at the Doodad.
All right, Jesse Ray Spivey, thank you for joining us here on The Factor Uncensored, and thank you for the job that you do.